Good morning. At least it's 8:30 where I am right now in the morning. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload this video, but in any case, I am just excited because I just have a few things that I wanted to share this morning. So on April 11th of this year, our fourth child, as I've shared, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And for the first month after his diagnosis, he was using insulin. And we noticed that as we implemented a really strict low carb, and even for him, most days, a zero carb diet, we noticed that the amount of insulin that he had to use significantly was significantly reduced. And there was actually two nights towards, I would say, probably like March 10th and 11th, those two nights in particular, he was dropping like really low, and even in the day. And we were like, what's going on? We're giving him such small amounts of insulin, and it was really just kind of confusing. And there was one night where I really didn't even sleep because he has a continuous glucose monitor, and it kept on going off, alerting us that his blood sugar levels were, just declining. So we would give him something to kind of bring it back up, and that was a miserable night. And it was, again, just kind of confusing for us because we were like, he's not really getting that much insulin in the day. We don't understand what's going on. And I remember the night of March 12th, my husband saying, you know what, when he goes to bed tonight, let's not give him any insulin. And I was like, okay, because he's like, obviously his body is not needing this insulin because he keeps on dropping so low in the night. So I said, okay, that's fine. Well, the next day, May 12th, he went the entire day, we noticed, without insulin, because when he woke up, his levels were like, I think like 80 something. So we were like, okay, this is good. And of course, considering what we were feeding him, we realized, hey, he may not need any insulin for this. So left that alone, and we were just kind of watching, because obviously with eating protein, we know that that can also spike your insulin. So we were really watching it closely even after he ate, just seeing if we needed to give him any insulin. And hours after eating, he still had, there was a slight peak, but I don't think it even went above 100. So we were like, okay, let's do the same thing for the next meal. And since May 12th up until today, which is June 12th, that has been the pattern. And he has not had any like ridiculous spikes. He's staying within normal range in terms of like his blood sugar levels. And again, we've been monitoring it, and it's just been absolutely amazing. Of course, we are just like thanking God. And I know, just from some reading, people are saying, okay, this is, for some people, the honeymoon stage, this is what it looks like. For some, they may not have to take as much insulin. And for a small percentage of people, they can go without taking any insulin for, small, I guess, pockets of time, and then the honeymoon stage ends. Of course, we are remaining prayerful and hopeful and saying, God, please let this honeymoon stage go on forever. So that's pretty exciting for us. So we are still, as a family, just really doing super low carb. I'm still 100% carnivore for the most part, and Elijah is, the other one that's there with me, and occasionally he may have, some vegetables, but it's not something where he does consistently. And for the rest of my family, there's at least one meal where they do incorporate vegetables with what they eat. And for me, it's so worth it. It's so exciting just to see the changes, and to, know that he's at the point now where he's not having to take insulin before every meal. And while this drastic shift has been somewhat challenging for him, because like I said, even though I felt like, they ate mostly low carb before, they still had their occasional treats or whatever. But now we've cut out like dairy and just really gone hardcore in a lot of ways. And while that's somewhat challenging for him, I know that he is motivated at the same time because he obviously had to live a good month with having to take insulin before every meal and dealing with, you know, dropping low and just even when we first came home after he was first diagnosed, having really high blood sugar levels. So I think for him, even though it can still be a little bit difficult to know that, you know, things are super restrictive, he is encouraged in knowing that, hey, I don't have to take insulin. So one of the things that I am doing is when I get up in the mornings, I try my best to cook like all of the meals right away. That really helps to kind of make the day run a little bit smoother. This is not every day because there are those days where I, you know, pull the children in to help me to cook and to get to help with the cooking. So for the days where I'm the only one cooking, I try to get most of it done in the morning. So for example, this morning I am going to just pop some burgers in the oven. Then I have some codfish, which my son seasoned last night, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cook that now. And then I also have some beef shanks, which I plan to sear on both sides and then just pop it in the Instant Pot and cook that as well. And for me, I'm just going to eat, you know, probably only 2 of those things since I only do like 2 meals a day. And for the rest of the family throughout the day, that's what they're gonna have those 3 different options. And I may pair it, you know, for those that want vegetables with some like cauliflower rice, broccoli, or, you know, even avocado. So that's the option that's there as a side. It's not something that I force them to eat, but if they would like, that is at least in place. And another thing that's been very helpful for me to not feel super overwhelmed with like all this cooking is grilling. So we are trying to like every other week now do some type of grilling at the beginning of the week. And because we have such a large family, it's not realistically, we can't like hold on to all of the food for an entire week. Most of the time when we grill, even though it's a large amount of food, it may last us for 3 to 4 days, but it's still just nice to know, okay, this is done, put in the work one day and this is done, and I don't have to like go in the kitchen and cook for another 3 to 4 days. And you know, again, this has just been helpful. So I just wanted to share those tips with you, and you know, to also say this because I think this is such an important thing for parents to know, is to pull the children in on the process. I am not the only one that cooks in my household. The older children cook, and even the younger ones, they can do basic things like cook eggs, and that just really helps to alleviate a lot of the pressure. And of course my husband, he helps with the grilling. He doesn't necessarily get down with the cooking, but he'll grill. So it's just a team effort, and you know, realistically most of the time falls on me, but it does help to have some days where I'm not doing it all by myself. And it can definitely, I think I mentioned this before in another video, it can be overwhelming. You know, when you have little ones in the kitchen and they make a mess and they're breaking eggs as you're teaching them to crack it, that process within itself can be like, oh my goodness, but it's absolutely worth it, because while the training process may be difficult and you know, time consuming, and you can feel like, okay, just leave because I could do it all by myself, it does pay off in the long run. So because those mornings where I'm not able to get in the kitchen and cook everything, it's nice when I can say, hey, child 1 or child 2, you know, can you go in the kitchen and prepare dinner for everyone? So I see the fruit of just being patient. And let me rephrase, I'm not always patient, but I see the benefit of making the space for the children to learn, because in the end it does pay off for everyone. So in any case, that is it. Excited about what's going on with Elijah, and we're just praying and, you know, believe in the Lord that this will continue, and just for grace as we go on this journey. So yeah, just wanted to pop in, share those tips and updates with you. All right, you be blessed.